Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Coffee with Tea. I'm your host, the amazing T Street. Today, I wanted to tackle a topic based off of a DM that I got the other day from a young man in California. He DM'd me and he said, Miss T, he told me where I knew him from. And he said, do you ever just feel overwhelmed? And if so, how do you deal with it without just checking out altogether? Anytime I get those kind of DMs, I always want to address it for them in the immediate because I know that sometimes for them, that might be the only opportunity I get. And so I wanted to take the opportunity to avail myself to answer that for him. But I thought it was a great topic for me to cover on a Coffee with Tea. So today's topic is overwhelmed with a question mark. Make your life a tiny desk. To answer the question, do I ever feel overwhelmed? Of course, I'm a part of the human condition, and sometimes I feel overwhelmed. I'll tell you some instances when I feel overwhelmed. It's not usually the things of life all coming at me at the same time that make me feel overwhelmed. It's the things that are temporary that I sometimes am engaged in, which give me feelings of being overwhelmed. For example, I'm a natural introvert. Yes, I know I speak on stages all across the country. That's not what introversion or extroversion is about. I don't gain lots of energy from big things, big gatherings, lots of people. And so I found out and I figured it out that my stress and my anxiety is usually on 10 as I anticipate going to big events. I'm not talking about going to conferences like that with kids and where I get to speak and where I get to just hang out with kids, but mostly adult kind of things drain me because I'm overwhelmed with like thoughts of what's going to be before I ever get there, even though I've committed to going. And then once I'm there, I feel overwhelmed when I see the sheer mass of people. I'll give you an example. I went to an event on Sunday. I love this event. I think it's one of the best events that I get to go to every year. And I enjoy it to an extent. When I was younger and my introversion has increased and my anxiety has increased over the years. And so when I was younger, I would be the person who worked the room. I would see lots of people and take lots of photos and da-da-da. The older I get, the less inclined I am to do that because I want to protect my mental health. And so I find myself not working the room, but creating a small space that is my room. I don't venture to the other side of the room. I generally talk to the people that are in the region that I'm in over in the small section because if I take life like that in small increments, it's less overwhelming. So whether you're dealing with that as an example or other things in your life, take little chunks of it and deal with it in smaller pieces. And you're less likely to feel overwhelmed. You got a lot of things going on at your job. Truncate out the part that's not overwhelming, like home, and focus a little bit more in that area because that area is not the area that's making you feel overwhelmed. I talk about cleaning out the closets of my life. A few years ago, I moved and I downsized and I purged. It was awesome. Boxes and things. If I hadn't touched it in years, it went to the trash. I got one of those big junk folks. They came and they removed all this stuff. And so when I moved, I didn't move a lot of junk with me. I simply moved and downsized into a smaller space. I cleaned out the closets of my life. I'm good at doing that. If I find myself feeling overwhelmed too much, it tells me I've got too much going on. So I start to say no more frequently and literally only biting off the things that I both can chew and want to chew. And when I do that, I notice that I feel less overwhelmed. When I'm running all the time, I feel overwhelmed. But when I can slow it down and I can say yes to some things and no to some things, it helps with my anxiety and it helps me feel less overwhelmed. And finally, the analogy that I just gave myself this morning in the shower was, if you are a person who feels overwhelmed often, treat your life like it's a tiny desk. Y'all know NPR's Tiny Desk, where stars come on and they, in this tiny space, they create mad music, some of our favorite artists. What I noticed about them is, I was listening to SWV recently, their Tiny Desk, and they've got, oh my God, a catalog of music that I just love. Tasha Cobbs Leonard has a catalog of music that I just love. But what I noticed about the Tiny Desk over the years is that stars get to come on. They only get to sing 3 to 4 songs. So they have to choose wisely the thing that they're going to focus on, the songs that they're going to sing. And what I noticed is that they choose some that are their favorites and some that are their audience's favorites. So everybody is pleased, but they don't sing their whole catalog. That's why it's a tiny desk. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, treat your life like the tiny desk. Only do the things that you can do in increments. Choose the things that you prioritize. So if these things aren't top priority, don't do them, especially during the holiday season. Everybody wants to get together. If that's not your jam, don't do it. Treat your life like a tiny desk. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, those are the things that I recommend. Clean out the closets of your life and your house if you need to, but also make your life like a tiny desk. Put things in priority because you can't do it all. Do your favorites. Maybe do a favorite of the people that you love. I'm the Amazing T Street, but you know what? There's nothing amazing in me that's not in each and every one of you. So go. Don't be overwhelmed. Treat your life like a tiny desk. Have a good day.